Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today we'll be talking about Jake Tura's Hypertrophy Clusters program. It's a program that I've been doing probably 3 times or 4 times. I can't even count anymore. But from the program, I took his philosophies, his concepts, and put them into not only my training, but into my athletes' training as well. So if you want to learn more, keep watching. I'll also share along the way some stuff that I learned as well as the results I got from it. And let me tell you, I got results. Let's start with the basics. What is hypertrophy clusters and why should you care to even try hypertrophy clusters out? Well, in sports, athletes need two major key traits: the ability to produce power, basically how explosive can you be in a short amount of time, and number two, the ability to repeat that power over and over and over again, what Jake calls RMEA, or in his textbook calls repeated max effort ability. So for you watching, this is perfect because hypertrophy clusters works on both of those at the same time. It builds power and size at the same time. Before we dive more into the video, I just want to say how much hypertrophy clusters have changed myself, my transition of training. I'm a natural gym goer, so is my friends, so is my brother, right? We don't compete in anything, we just like to train, we love to train, we love to get after it. But we got to take a few steps back, right? So I became a GA. As soon as I became a GA, I was always on Twitter looking for the best coaches, best programming, because I was a coach that didn't know how to program or do any of that stuff. The first one that came to mind was Jake Tura's Hypertrophy Clusters. It was $47. That's enough money for my stipend. I bought it and I've been doing it since, right? So when I first started the program, as soon as I became a GA, I was so shy that I wouldn't even turn the lights on in the weight room. I would just be lifting in the dark. Then my brother joined me, and I think right when I started the program, my squat was 395 and my bench was, I think at best, 225. It might have been 235. My brother had a 255-pound bench, and I think he says 315 squat, but it might be more. But his depth wasn't good. I was wearing Metcons, so my depth wasn't that good. But fast forward now, training consistently, training every week. I haven't missed more than a week of training. But my bench right now, as we speak, is 280, and my squat is 480. My brother's squat is 515, and his bench is 300. Jake Tura's program isn't the only program we do, but it's one of the programs that I keep in my programming at least consistently. Right, like I'll like to try other programs, I'll try Will Rotel's, I'll try other people's, but I always come back to Jake Tura's, right? Just because I love the philosophy, it's so easy. You get a pump, you feel good, you feel like you did the work, and many more. And like I said, I'm not going to promise you anything, right? You're not going to get the same results as I did. You might get better results. It doesn't matter. What matters is if you do the work consistently. I don't really need to tell you all that kind of stuff, but if you just keep going into the gym, you're going to get better no matter what kind of program you really do until you get really good at it, right? Like I'm not even good enough to do all that crazy stuff. Just keep it simple. That's why I'm ranting on it. Enjoy the people you're working out with. And then of course, I took the philosophy. I don't always just do the whole program word for word. I take what is being learned in the program and take it into my training programs, my training philosophy. Okay, let's get into why hypertrophy cluster works, right? That's the reason why you're watching, why you want bigger numbers in the gym. So the reason it works is because when you're doing a traditional hypertrophy set, let's say you're going into the gym, you do 10 to 15 reps, 10 to 12 reps. If you do that third set of that number by rep 7, you're gonna start fatiguing. It's not gonna look as fast. In my weight room, I want every rep to look the same, right? And it's not gonna, but I want speed with every rep. I want you to move as fast as you can, the heaviest weight on the bar as fast as you can. That shows me that you're getting stronger. So when you do drop off by rep 7, rep 6, rep 8, the power output goes really out fast, right? The power just goes down. Clusters fix this. So let's say you go into the gym with your gym buddies, right? And you say, hey, we're going to do 5 sets of 8 bench. It's still 48 reps or 40 reps. 5 times 8, 40. If I told you to flip those reps, now you're going to do 8 sets of 5. And if you're doing 8 reps on the 5th set, it's not going to look the same as your first set. But if I told you to flip the rep scheme and do 8 sets of 5, 5, 5, 5. The power is going to stay the same. And of course, if you're doing 8 reps, you can't do as much weight as you can if you were doing 5 reps. So the power stays the same. So basically what I'm saying is if you're doing 5 sets of 8, just flip the rep scheme. If you're doing 4 sets of 10, flip the rep scheme. Now you're doing 10 sets of 4. Now you're just keeping your workload the same, but you're moving the bar as fast as you can every set. And I promise you, you're gonna feel that pump. The total work that you're doing is the same, right? 40 reps is 40 reps. But now that you can do it heavier, the speed and the quality of the reps is gonna just look the same. It's gonna look more flawless. You're gonna come out the gym better. You're not gonna be as fatigued because you're doing all that hypertrophy, right? 4 sets of 10. It's not really gonna get you anywhere, but we really wanna work everything. We wanna work that power, size, strength, everything. And that's what 8x5 does, 10x4 does, and 12x3. The one thing that I did notice with hypertrophy clusters when I'm doing them, so the first couple weeks you're gonna do 8 sets of 5. the next 10 sets of 4, then the last weeks you're going to do 12 sets. Perfect thing that I found with this, coming from an athlete, is that the flow you can get into the gym, right? And there's one workout that I used to do for Squattober, and it was you put a timer for 15 minutes and you just go for doubles, right? That was one of the Squattober workouts. With this, it's almost the same, but you get into a flow, right? You unrack the bar, you sit, come up, rack it again. You only get a minute of a rest, do it again, and you get into a flow. That was my favorite thing about sports, playing basketball as a shooter, getting into that flow. And that's exactly what happens when you're under the bar, benching and squatting. You get into that flow and it just gets addicting. You get that rhythm, you come out the other side stronger. Okay, I want to talk about how I can push this program a little bit farther, but it's almost on the brisk of being psycho, right? So the original program, I don't know if I could say this, but it's 8 sets of 5, 10 sets of 4, 12 sets of 3. The thing that I noticed is that you can go a little bit deeper. You can go 14 sets by 2 or 14 by 2 and then 16 by 1. That sounds like a lot, but like I said, I'm a little psycho and you can kind of get into that flow. Also, if you're an athlete or coach watching this, just guinea pig it. So Hypertrophy Clusters talks about the 8 sets, the 10 sets, the 12 sets. He doesn't talk about 14 sets or 16 sets. That's something I'm guinea pigging that I'm going to try. And if it works for me, then it should work for the next human that I coach. But usually I guinea pig stuff before I give it to my athletes, as you should too. Then it makes everyone's lives better. So basically what I'm saying is I'm going to try to push the boundaries just a little bit, and I'm going to be trying this from right now to May. So right now, my biggest goal is to have a better clean and a better snatch. That's not involved in this program. But what is involved is, can I get my squat better? Can I get my front squat better? Can I get benching better? Right? Some of those lifts, my front squat is going to transfer to my clean. If I have a heavy front squat, I can catch the clean, right? So I apply these concepts, these rep schemes into those main lifts and see what can happen. Okay, let's say you're a beginner and I can already hear you saying, well, that's too many sets, or I'm going to die under the bar. And I got you. I think I found something else about this program, and you can just regress. The program naturally drops 2 sets every time you take a rep off. So if you work backwards, you'd subtract 2 sets and add a rep for each set. It will look like this: 4 by 7, 6 by 6, 8 by 5, 10 by 4, 12 by 3, 14 by 2, and then 16 by 1. So I'll be doing the 8 by 5 to 16 by 1. This basically gives you a complete training block for your main lifts, allowing you to start lighter and gradually work up to the higher intensity schemes. It's a great way to adapt to the program if you're easing in or trying to avoid burnout. So you might be asking yourself, when should I try this program if I'm an athlete? So the best time to try this is probably when you're in the off season, of course. That's when you're trying to build your base, your foundation. For the natural gym goer like me or a coach, you can try it whenever. I mean, who doesn't want to get big? But like I've mentioned before, most of my teams that I have are all around season. So they're in season year round. Like my golf, like my swim. I wanted to try these concepts with them, but since stress and life gets hard because they're in season, they have school, they have their family, all those stressors, all I did was half the sets. The first couple of weeks, I had to go 4 by 5, 5 by 4, 6 by 3, and it's basically the same thing, but I just half the sets in half. This helps my athletes achieve those kind of goals, right? So if I put 8 sets for a beginner on the screen, they're probably gonna not do them. They're gonna lie to me and say they finished it, but they really didn't. So when I give them something 4 by 5, 5 by 4, 6 by 3, it gives them something to fight for. And one of the things that I always do with them is, like, if they earned it, I'll let them go heavier. So if they're doing 4 by 5, I keep them at an intensity around like 65 to 75%. They can go up, down. They can't go more than that or less than that, but they get to fight with the bar. So I've already talked about my numbers and my brother's numbers, our squats jumping 100 pounds and all that. And like I said, that just comes from being consistent and just going to the gym, right? Anyone can get a bigger number if they just stay consistent, train hard, and train smart, right? But one of the things that I found, and this program's all about quality over quantity, right? It's a lot of reps, but you're getting quality reps in. If you do 4 sets of 10, some of those reps aren't really going to count, or your body's not really going to take it, right? I'm not into all that science stuff as I should be as a coach. 4 sets of 10 at a lighter weight, or 10 sets of 4 at a heavier weight, I'm going to go with the 10 sets of 4. So yes, this program does work. This program is, I think, going to work until it doesn't for me. One of the stories that I have from one of my track athletes is I added this into the program. And since it was an off season, a true off season for them, in August to December, I did the original program for them. They did 8 by 5, 10 by 4, 12 by 3. The first couple weeks, they looked at me crazy, saying, is that a typo up there on the TV? And I was like, no, that's not a typo. That's 40 reps that I want. Come to find out later in December, I won't say his name, but his max squat, I think, was 250. In December, of course, newbie, he put 250 on the bar, and I was kind of skeptical, right? I don't really like people maxing out in front of me because if they get hurt, it's on me, but I shouldn't think like that. But that's beside the point. He put his 1 rep max on the bar, and he did it for 5 to 6 reps. I think he did it for 5, 6. He was helped up. If I put my 1 rep max on the bar and I did it for 6, that's a win in my book. So the final question: is Jake Turo's program worth it? And I would say absolutely. If you're a coach, if you're a trainer, someone in the fitness world, if you're an athlete, try this program. It doesn't hurt to try, just like I did. It's $47. Just buy the program, try it, and you'll take something out of it like I did. One more point. The one thing that I wish he added into this program, I don't think he's a big proponent to Olympic lifts. I love Olympic lifts, so I just add them into my program. Like I said, my big goal is to have a better snatch and clean, right? Still going for that 500 squat, but I just wish he added Olympic lifts. But again, that's when you become your own coach, you become your own training program, and you just add stuff in. So like I did, I just moved some stuff around, added some Olympic lifts, still do the hypertrophy clusters to win-win. But I wish he added it, so I would have done it a long time ago. If you've ever tried it, if you ever bought the program, put the comments. I want to see how you did, what your numbers go to, and all that fun stuff, right? I just want to hear your PRs, and maybe if Jake Tur you're watching, thank you for changing the game. Also, if you want more breakdowns or me talking about content or some programs I tried, put a question in the comments. I want to hear it, or I just or content out there. So if you got anything, let me hear, and I've got more content coming your way. Please like and subscribe, and like I said when I was a child, be cool.